And we're starting. Okay, so have you looked at the gather in small groups assignment?
Yes. From what I gathered, we're just discussing the research articles that were
Exactly. Yeah. So have you found a research article yet?
I did.
Oh, what did you find?
Let's see. It's called The Power of Situations, Jonestown, and the Fundamental Attribution Error. So, as it states, it's talking about the fundamental attribution error, and it's just a experiment they did to see if those in the experimental group would be more likely to attribute situational attributions to people instead of the dispositional after viewing a documentary on Jonestown.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the control group they had two control groups. One, they didn't show them the documentary or talk to them about the fundamental attribution error, and the other control group, they did talk to them about the fundamental attribution error, and what they found was that those who I think were more exposed to like the situation that people were surrounded by led them to see how situational attributions do affect how a person acts, as opposed to just the dispositional, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I like that. That sounds really interesting. So have you started like going through the 10 things that we have to answer for it?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so let's see.
I have it pulled up. Do you want me to just share that screen?
Sure.
Okay, I can do that. I finally figured it out. It took me forever. But...
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. That's alrighty. Yeah, so the hypothesis, like for the first question, was just that they thought that those exposed to the documentary would. So it says, we expected the students exposed to the documentary and discussion of the cult features would make fewer dispositional and more situational attributions than the control participants. And that is what they found. So they were correct on their hypothesis. Are we supposed to go through all of these or what?
I don't think we're supposed to go through all of them because the gather in small groups thing just says, come to the gathering prepared to ask your group members to help you respond to specific items from the ERA assignment instructions.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's just supposed to be like, if you have questions, you're supposed to bring them, because for the most part, I think that the ERA is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
At least I thought so. You know, you have these 10 questions. You find an article that has to do with something from the last 3 chapters. So.
Okay.
Do you have questions?
Let's see. Research design. I don't have really. I feel like I was trying. I was trying to come up with some questions, and I really couldn't think of anything specific because the research article I found is very descriptive, and it actually answers all of these questions pretty well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How were you thinking that you would apply the research article to your own experience?
I was just trying to think of times where I've maybe been more exposed to someone's situation and how that changed like what I was attributing to them. Maybe describing that. At least that's what I thought it meant. Is that what it means? Kind of like how
I think so.
That's in real life.
That works for me. He was a little sparse on exactly how to do that, but I think that that's probably good because it gives us a chance to like figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too, was like how it has affected myself, because the one that I chose is about collectivist culture versus an individualist culture.
Okay.
So, like, they went through and they figured out the dispositions of elementary age children who were already like inspired to learn on their own.
Okay.
And then they compared them between a collectivist culture and an individualist culture.
Okay.
To like see what's different about their dispositions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds way interesting. What did they find from
So
this?
they found that while they both achieved fairly well, they also noticed that there were like small differences. Like in the collectivist culture, which was in Uganda, not as many kids watched TV. Shocking, right?
Yeah.
But they also didn't read as many books.
Okay.
However, they were much more competitive than the kids in the individualist culture. So it's like small things, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Did you have any specific questions you wanted to go over? Or?
I don't know. I didn't. I know
Okay.
I'm so terrible at this.
No.
But I thought it was interesting that they had specific definitions for what they considered a high achieving student as well. So like for applying it to my own experience, I was not considered a high achieving student, not according to their standards.
Okay.
Because they have like these 4 things that they require for a high achieving student. Let's see, where did it go? They had to be independent, creative, self-motivated,
Okay.
and come on, computer, catch up. And information seeking.
Okay.
So basically they had to like qualify for these 4 things.
Okay.
And it just made me think about like how many students are high achieving in like our schools and stuff, like who falls under that category.
Right.
And for those of us who don't, are our dispositions different? Like it just like made me think about like other research opportunities for that.
Yeah, no, that's good. So that's so what do you think were some of the strengths and limitations of the study?
I think some of the strengths are that it does give us like a clear like dispositional difference between collectivist versus individualist culture, especially for like the way that the culture is shaping these students. However, I don't know that it gets like a good view of all of the students because I don't know a lot of kids that are all 4 of those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that does. That makes sense. No, that's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I don't have more questions or
No, it's okay. I don't know that this has to be like extremely long.
Okay.
Let's see. Take attendance, facilitate before the end of the meeting. Oh, will you be the lead student next week? I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Super.
Awesome.
And then we just have to paste the link and tell everyone that we met.
Okay.
But okay. I'll talk to you next week, I guess.
Okay. Thank you so much for putting everything together and reaching out.
Of course. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.